Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you, hearing you. I very welcome my friends and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Doctor Who Daily. If you're feeling charitable, please smash that subscribe button. Please smash that like button and follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And today we're talking about Doctor Who going back to basics, because I was having a cigarette on my patio and I was thinking about this. I know, terrible habit, but it relaxes me and helps me think creatively, actually. And I was thinking, when something is so toxic in terms of the people who work on the show and in terms of the audience, you need to go back to basics. I've said before, Chris Chibnall would definitely be fired. And that's from someone who thinks the Timeless Children and the Timeless Child reveal has a lot of potential. But it kind of ponders too many questions. It's not just the fact of, doing that now. You have to kind of answer all the questions from the previous seasons of Doctor Who, because that reveal, there's so many plot holes because of it, and so many questions posed by better people and more intelligent Doctor Who fans than me. Now, originally, Doctor Who used to have 20 to 30 minute episodes. They used to focus on one story for about 5 or 6 episodes, and then they would go on to the next story. So, for example, after An Unearthly Child, the new companions, obviously the first companions, Ian and Barbara and Susan, were kind of dragged with the Doctor to this first adventure that lasted a few episodes, as did they all back then. Now, Torchwood, Children of Earth, is probably the height of Torchwood and the height of Russell T Davies' genius. Torchwood, Children of Earth is set on one for a week, right? They aired, not set, but this was broadcast for a whole week. 5 episodes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I think each episode was about an hour long, so very good. This is a really dark story and probably John Barrowman's greatest performance of his career. This was just fantastic. Now, this is very similar to the way they used to do Classic Who in its inception. You have one story for 5 episodes. You don't, obviously, Torchwood was always set in Wales. They didn't travel around or anything. They had a story each episode, but this is different. This is a 5-episode season, so it's 5 hours, which is still quite a lot of screen time, by the way, and it's one story. I think this format is the future of Doctor Who. Well, it is for me, because when something's not working, as I say, you go back to basics, and not only go back to basics in terms of kind of the format of how they used to do Doctor Who and how they did Torchwood, Children of Earth. I think this would work for Doctor Who. So what would you do? Well, I think Doctor Who needs to become an event series. Torchwood Miracle Day isn't a basic season 3. It's an event series, right? 24 Redemption was an event series. 24 Live Another Day, should I say, was an event series. And this is what Doctor Who needs to be. I think if you make it an event series, it's an event. So you have 5 one-hour episodes, like Children of Earth did, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then you go off the air. Then you come back for another series. This is what you should do. So instead of kind of numbering them, seasons 1, seasons 2, or season 14, 15, or whatever, right? Season 13, you make these event seasons. You make these events. So once a year, Doctor Who comes back with 5 one-hour episodes spread throughout the whole week. An event. Make Doctor Who an event for a whole week. And you come up with the most grounded, the most amazing story, just focused on one story. Now, if you wanted to, you could have you could have 2 weeks of this. You could have the first week, like maybe February, March, or April, and then in the autumn or the fall, how you Americans say it, you could come back maybe in September for another week, event series of Doctor Who. That would take you to 10 episodes a year. And it just means you either have them as 45-minute episodes or 1-hour episodes. So literally, right, you would have 10 episodes a year. It's pretty much one season. This would work. So you have the Doctor in one place, dealing with one story, twice a year, once in April, once in September, 10 episodes a year, 2 event series a year. That would be amazing. The budget doesn't need to be put up. And, you're getting 10 episodes a year now anyway. It used to be 13, and now it's 10. But you focus on one story. So you'd have literally 2 stories of Doctor Who a year, but you would talk about 2 event series. So in a way, it will be a Series A and a Series B. But because they're 1-week event series, people are going to be so buzzed up to see them. Having an episode on a night, on a weeknight, is a big deal. But of course, you can do all of that, and you would get the numbers. This would excite people. But you have to cast a great Doctor, a great actor, an actor, whatever their gender, who understand that Doctor Who is about performance. You see, how can I say this? Matt Smith and David Tennant performed the Doctor like they were on stage, but it never seemed like a performance. But when you watch Jodie, you can tell she's pretending. Not because she's not good at acting, because it's the way it's directed now, it's the way it's written. It's like when they do a historical episode and she's slowly talking about historical events to literally us, because she's treating us like children. She's treating us like idiots. It's not her treating us like idiots. It's the way it's written. It's Chibnall's mentality. Now, I personally, again, I would say this, he will be gone now. He will be gone now. I would absolutely have the Dalek episode this Christmas. I would regenerate her and cast anyone I wanted. And the first event series I would do for 5 episodes on 1 week, right, would be the retcon of the retcon. Yes, I would retcon the Timeless Child. And you're saying, hang on a minute, Mick, but you like that. I do. But it isn't good for Doctor Who. And it isn't actually good for the fans. The fans are upset by this. The fans are the customer. The fans are the consumer. Do you understand? And in a business, when you open a shop up, you've got to please your customers or you're not going to make any money. You're not going to be able to eat at night. You're not going to have a roof over your head, right? And no matter what you think of the consumer, even if you hate the Doctor Who fans from coming from a perspective of, all the moaning and all the toxicity, at the end of the day, without them, there is nothing. And right now, Chris Chibnall, and to a lesser extent Stephen Moffat, has driven a lot of people away. Something that Russell T Davies never did and could never do if he tried, because he understood what a modern-day Doctor Who show needed to be. He employed Big Finish writers. Everyone on the production, nearly everyone, were fans of the show, as they were on the Moffat, let's start again, in the Moffat era as well. But Chris Chibnall sacked most of the people who worked in the Moffat era and the Davies era. This is ridiculous. And again, I'll repeat myself, removing Murray Gold as composer is one of the biggest dumb-ass decisions I have ever seen in my life. I've seen a lot of things in this industry, both as a consumer and someone who works in it. And I've never seen something so dumb in my life. When someone's so good at their job, you don't remove them. I know some people don't like Murray's music. I say this every episode of the Doctor Who Daily, but I mean it. It is ridiculous. It simply doesn't work. So Chibnall needs to be removed. And this is just a suggestion, but I think 2 event series a year, either consisting of 5 individual 45-minute to an hour episodes, 2 event series, 2 different stories. That means you've got 2 different plots a year. They're spaced out so it doesn't take the viewer out of whatever's going on. And as I say, I would retcon the retcon. And basically, the first event series would be set on a rebuilt Gallifrey. And my story would be a civil war between Gallifrey and Skaro. Now, the Time War is kind of similar to that. So how do we undo everything that Chibnall's done? Well, that's pretty easy. The Doctor could discover that actually and I've spoken about this before, a multiverse, and it's the Gallifrey from the other universe that was destroyed by the Master. And this Master is actually from the multiverse, and it's not. This universe is our universe's Doctor's Master, and actually that Gallifrey is still about. So there's this civil war, and the Doctor is in the middle of this civil war between the Time Lords and the Daleks. It means that the Doctor is a Gallifreyan, the Time Lords and Gallifrey stand tall, and the Doctor is going to have to help in this war. And I like that idea, by the way. Why wouldn't I? It's my idea. But that's how I feel about it. And I just feel 2 event series a year would be a very interesting concept. And after all, this is how it started. They used to do 5 or 6 episodes set on one place, on one story. So you had cliffhangers after each episode. You could do that with the series, with this event series, which would take place in 1 week. Each episode of that certain series could have cliffhangers. And Doctor Who's quite good at doing cliffhangers, by the way. It's part of the religion of Doctor Who. I think this new format could work. You know, a lot of things Doctor Who used to do wouldn't work within a modern era of Doctor Who. But I think having 2 separate stories running for 1 week separately twice a year would be amazing. I think it definitely would work because Doctor Who needs to change. It needs to go back to basics. It needs to excite the audience. We need great characters. We need a great Doctor. We need to be excited about Doctor Who again. But what do you think? Comment down below. Like, share and subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow with even more Doctor Who Daily as we see what's going to happen next after the big fallout to what happened at the end of season 12. I still believe it's not certain that Chibnall and Whittaker will be involved in season 13. And I think when things are this divisive, anything could still happen.